This is my Monstera plant. As you can tell, it is huge. It's significantly taller than me, and although that's what makes it absolutely amazing, that's also the reason why we need to manage it a little bit. So the biggest problem that I'm having is this is sprawling out so much. This is sprawling out so much in my kitchen that I can't really afford the extra space. As you can see, the holes that I had holding it up kind of fell over because of the weight of it. Now, I could probably get this to stand up, but the problem would be is if I got it to stand up, it's gonna hit the ceiling. So this plant right now is just too big for my house. So I thought we would go ahead and I'll walk you through all of the steps to propagate. The cool thing about propagating is you actually get a new plant from it. So you can turn one plant into multiple plants. And when plants get like this and they're too big, you hate to have to get rid of them because they've outgrown your house. So you can take these big plants and start other plants and then have a whole bunch of them. Can we just appreciate the size of like the leaves on here though? Like not even close. Like my hand is just tiny on it. This thing is huge. So super excited to propagate this. Let's go ahead, let's hop right in, propagate our Monstera. Okay, I kind of love that the Monstera is just like right here. We're gonna get this tamed up. We're gonna get over here looking a little bit better for our videos and also get another plant out of here. The first thing that you wanna do though is you wanna make sure that the equipment that you are using is clean. So this one's pretty gross. I'm terrible at cleaning my shears, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a really good clean. What I do is I take a cotton round with some rubbing alcohol and you just take the rubbing alcohol and we're gonna wipe it clean off the shears so there's no, gross bacteria or dirt or grime or anything that could actually hurt this plant on these shears. And like I said, I'm terrible at remembering to do this, so I don't even remember the last time I cleaned these. But for one of my favorite plants, I'm gonna make sure that I do everything to ensure it does really good. Okay, there we go. These are all cleaned up and ready to cut some plants. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to come in and evaluate the plants. So let's go from the top. The biggest leaf is going to be this one. So if we follow that down, right here, we have the V shape, we have, this looks like it's gonna be an aerial root right there, and we have a node. So the only way that you're gonna be able to propagate is you have to cut below one of these. So this is really an ideal spot, just given the fact that this is the highest one. It is very thick, like as you can tell. So we're gonna come in with our scissors or our shears. Ooh, I hope this is big enough to cut it. We come in with our shears and we're gonna snip that off. So this whole section, we'll set that off to the side for now. Now let's evaluate it. If I were to try to bring this up, this one spreads awfully far. So if you can see, it spreads from like one end of the kitchen over to the other. I think I want, oh, nope, those are two different ones. Okay, this is why we take a second to look. I don't know why this guy's tied like this. Set that little guy free. Okay. Okay, good thing we didn't cut. But the premise is still the same. If we see kind of the way that it's growing, there's only a couple that are growing out this way. I don't know if I want to leave it or if I want to cut it. I'll come back to that spot. If we go down here, if we come down here, you can see the same thing. You can see that we have the V shape, we have a node right here, so we can easily come in, give that a snip. So we'll set that off to the side. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut this one. Same thing, we have the V shape, we have a root right there, and I don't know, clippers need to go a little wider. Okay. We'll go ahead, cut that off. Now I think the last cut that I'm gonna do is going to be down here. So this one's just kind of at a weird angle, so I'm just gonna cut this one off right there. And I don't, like, if you can see here, we have the V shape with a root, we have the V shape with a root, so I can cut that into two. So that was a lot of cutting off my plant. Now I'm gonna try to get it to stand up. Okay, so the aerial roots, I just pop them back into my plant. I'll just take any that are hanging out, pop them in there. They'll actually turn to roots, so it doesn't really matter. Now, the reason why you never tie like this, you know, directly up against the support is the leaves actually move to face the sun. So you can see all the leaves over here that are facing the sun. What I'm gonna do is, and this one, I bet you it grew so crazy, like one on this side and one on that side, because there's a window here and there's a window here. So it's reaching towards both, but we're just gonna turn this whole thing. And actually, to get this up more, I'm gonna tie these two sticks together. I know this isn't the best recording angle, but I need one of those like GoPros that I can just stick to my head and then you can see what I'm seeing. Make it a little bit easier for you. But okay. Ooh, that's way better. I'm glad we noticed that. Okay, so if we tie these two sticks together, this baby's standing straight up. Like, look at her. Look at that baby. Okay. So, now that we got that situated, we gotta figure out how we want to put this in here. So I'm thinking I want to put it in here like this. So although we cut a crap ton off of this plant, you can tell it is in a way better spot to grow. So like this one is still taller than me. It has seen better days. It's a little bit thinner, but we're coming into summertime, so it's the perfect time. I can get some fertilizer in here. I can really get this baby going with the summer light. It's really gonna get wild. So it's the perfect time to hop in, do the propagation. Now, let me show you what we do with the propagations. Now that we have our propagations cut, I have this container. It's just filled with water. It's room temperature, cold water, nothing special. I'm literally going to pop all of these into the container. You want to make sure that you get a container that's big enough to fit them all in so they're not squished up. Now, ones like this that have the aerial root, I find that the aerial root, when put into water, seems to just turn into a regular root. So a couple of trains of thoughts on it. I just pop that whole root right in the water, and I'll do the same for this guy. Now, I've read a million things that say that you should change the water once a week. You probably should. They're probably best for it. I tend to be a little bit more neglectful with my plants, so this water probably will not get changed until I actually pull it out and repot it. What I typically do is I just top it off with more water. I don't put rooting hormone or anything like that in there. I find that just regular water, topping it off so it's filled up enough. When I pull out the other one, That one was out of water for God only knows how long, so it was just bare roots. I got to soak it in water now. The point to this is you don't have to really worry. You don't have to do all of the right stuff when you're planting stuff. Plants are pretty forgiving. I mean, there's some that you probably have to follow like every single rule, but Monsteras are pretty forgiving. Because this looks kind of naked to me now, like it really looks like a bare spot, I'm gonna pop this back here to propagate. Also, it's been living in that sunlight and I don't want to take it away. I only have one good south facing light, which is over here. This is what, a west facing light, but it gets good sunlight. So I'm gonna just actually pop this guy right back here. Now he can hang out with his little buddy and get some roots. The next thing that we want to do is take a propagation, and I'll show you how to plant it. So 3 steps. The first step is to cut your Monstera down and to make propagations. Then what you do with the propagations after you have them made. So let me go get the one that already has some roots and it's in some water and get some dirt, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to do that. You know that I have fun making my own soil, so that's what we're going to do in order to plant our Monstera propagation. So I'm going to start out, these are earthworm castings. Adds a little bit of organic material into our soil. Then I'm going to do some vermiculite. What this does is it helps with moisture and it also helps the plant hold on to nutrients. So let's add a bit of that. And I've never used this before. It is bone meal and gypsum for added nutrient absorption. It says it adds organic calcium, nitrogen, phosphorus, great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, and bulbs. We're not doing any of those, but let's see if it actually helps with better roots. Now we're just going to add a wee little bit of that, so maybe a couple tablespoons. Now this is something that's absolutely necessary. So this is orchid bark. This is going to be the clumpy big pieces in your soil that really helps with drainage. One of the biggest things with soil is you really want to get a good drainage. You don't want soil to stay wet because that's how you get root rot, you get fruit flies, you get all kinds of nasty stuff. So orchid bark or things like this that make your soil chunkier are always amazing to put in there. So I'm gonna put a couple scoops in. Along this, I had to go over there to get it. It's such a big bag. Along the same line is perlite, which are these white bead looking things. They look like they're styrofoam, but they're not. What these do is this helps with drainage. Again, we don't want our plant having wet dirt and the soil holding onto the moisture. We want it to take as much as it needs for the roots, and we really want it to be able to drain well. That's one of the biggest things with soil that I can bring up. So I'm going to add a couple scoops of that. And what does it say? Promote strong root development, improves drainage and aeration. So yeah, exactly like I said, this is really good for helping your soil drain. Now I get a little wild with my perlite. I'm a little bit more conservative with the orchid bark only because it's so expensive. The perlite's pretty inexpensive, so I add a crap ton of this. And that's the official amount, crap ton. I think I added like 4 scoops. Then down here, I have, remember all that peat moss we made? If you didn't see the video, you need to hydrate your peat moss. So I'm gonna put like 4 These are 1/2 cup scoops, so about 4 of these in here. I did 5. Okay. We actually add some soil in here. This is just specially formatted for indoor, outdoor container plants. Now, you can tell this already has some of the things that I'm talking about. You can see a little bit of perlite in there. You can definitely see the cocoa core because it looks like the little hairs, and you can see a bit of orchid bark in here as well. So this is actually pretty good soil. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. It says it feeds up to 6 months. So this is the expert gardener soil. The one soil that I absolutely hate, I hate to say it, is what is the name of it? Miracle Grow. I absolutely hate Miracle Grow soil. I feel like it's complete trash. I tend to go with something more like this, and you want something that's not just going to be that packed down just dirt. I mean, if you're amending it, you can make it work, but a soil like this is actually preferred. You could use this one. I got a piece of glass in there. You could use this one probably right out of the bag without amending it, but we're just adding extra to it, make it that much even better. I'm gonna throw this glass in the trash. And I'm just gonna come in, give everything a really good mix. See what our soil looks like. I think I need just a wee bit more soil. So I'll add a couple more scoops. Now, I just eye everything up. There's no real science to it. I'm just going by the way that it looks and the way that it feels. So I want it to, like these clumps, no bueno. We never want soil clumps in there. We want it to be aerated. We want it to be loose. We never want it to be compact. The more space you can give it and the more that it's going to drain out all of the water that you put in, the better your plants are going to do. So that's just in general. Plants don't do well in clumps of soil. Show you is what our final soil looks like. Okay, that was a clump that was left behind. But aside from that, you can tell it's a real lovely mix. Let's set the soil off to the side for a minute and let's talk about our planter. So originally, I had to do it, right? Is the Monstera on there? I just had to put a Monstera in the Monstera pot. Originally, I was thinking that I was going to take one of the nursery pots and put it in here. But then I realized that this has the drainage, right? So it's got the hole in the bottom. So I'm going to plant my Monstera directly in here without putting the pot inside of it. You really don't want to use pots that don't have drainage. That's where you get into a lot of trouble. So when you think about the soil, all the bother that we went through to make sure that the soil drains really well and it doesn't retain moisture, if you put it in a pot that doesn't have a hole in the bottom, you're going to be in for trouble. I don't mind when you take the pots, you put like the, I don't know what they are, the plasticky, of course I don't have one here, like the nursery pots, and you just pop it in here. It still looks good. It's easy to take out water and plop back in. But because this does have, I'll pull this out and I'll just leave it out because it does have the drainage hole. We can go ahead and pot right in here. Now let's take a peek at what we're going to be planting. So I am bad at plants, and even when I try to do good, sometimes I have too many and I'm bad at it. It's all a part of growing. These didn't have any water in them. So about an hour ago, I had pulled it out because I was going to do this video, and I realized that there was 0 water in here. So I hurried up, filled it up with water. But I just want to show you, they are pretty easy to grow, even when you're not taking the best care of them. So we got a solid root on that one. Ooh, okay. that one, I'm in love. Okay. This one's a little snarled. You never just want to rip stuff apart and damage those beautiful roots. Okay. This one's the superstar. Oh my. Look at those roots. Like, that is lovely. Which is funny. No, it makes sense. See how this is starting to be like wilty and sad looking? Actually makes sense because the roots weren't getting any water because the container was empty. So that does make sense. And then we have this one. Now, I think this one's absolutely adorable, that from right here, it popped out a whole nother like baby plant, and it did this, mind you, without getting any water. So this one is a little survivor. Granted, this one started dying because it didn't have any water, but we will pop it in soil. This one's gonna have to get cut off. I'm just gonna leave it there for a little bit because I think it's a cute little baby. Go ahead, grab our pot. Now I put the plug part back in here just to hold the soil while I'm filling this up, and I'll pull it out before I actually water this. We're gonna put, I don't know, inch and a half of soil in here. So not a whole bunch. And then we are going to, oh my, okay. So that one, the root is so big, look at it, like darn near pops over the plant, the planter. Oh, I think it'll be fine. And then this one, I just kind of tried to place them in a way that makes sense. Now, I am of the camp that the aerial roots, I just pop them right in the planter. I think they're kind of ugly, if I'm being honest. So I put them right in there. I figure it's searching for some water. It'll probably get some out of the pot. Okay. So I just try to get these organized in a way that's not terrible. So I don't love that these ones are growing sideways, but we can always fix that with where we put it in the light, right? Because these will grow towards the light. So I think it'll be fine. Now we're just gonna go ahead, fill this up as best we can with soil. And I'm just kind of holding the plants in place for right now while I get the soil in there. I don't really love when like a plant's all the way on the edge or like looks like it's falling out of the pot. I like them more in the center. Everything's got a little home. Now, real important that you never smash the stuff down. Like, you never want to be like pressing down in the soil, but you do need to get it to compact a bit. So kind of smashing it on the counter, slapping it, you can kind of get to it that way. Now that we have this potted up, what I'll do is give it a really good watering. I'll pull that plug out, and there is our finished propagation. And literally the big plant that I have, I don't think it was much bigger than this when I bought it years ago, and I've gotten so many propagations out of it. I've given so many away. I think I lost a couple because I tried putting them at my roadside stand. And I have 1, 2, 3 other Monstera plants in my living room that are from this one. So you really do get a whole bunch. They're really easy to care for. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy propagating your Monstera plant. If they're feeling a little bit intimidating, I hope after this video it feels less intimidating for you, because it really is a very easy plant to grow in Propagate. It is very forgiving. I've left it out of water and everything still grows just fine. It is a very lovely plant, especially for beginners. If you haven't done so already, be sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, this channel not only goes over houseplants, we're also doing a whole thing on outdoor plants. So I'm gonna have a cut flower garden this year that I'm gonna take you through that. I have a whole bunch of perennial plants out there already. Once the snow melts a little bit, we'll go out there and do a full yard tour of everything I have. So I really hope you follow along and we can do this journey together. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, be sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below.